I was awarded a 3-year National Science Foundation grant to look at the social and economic interactions of the post-classic Maya in northern Yucatan, up around Cancun, and down into central Guatemala around the archaeological site of Tikal. Now, the post-classic Maya are a little studied time period of the Maya, in that they're the last ones that were contacted by the Spanish. What everybody knows about are the late classic Maya that had the big buildings, the big temples, the nice burials, the beautiful pottery. I'm taking a 3-pronged approach, studying the pottery, looking at its style, the decoration on it, as well as how it's being manufactured, looking at the minerals that are being used to make up the clay pottery, as well as the elements that are in the clay, to figure out where the pottery was coming from and going to. There's 2 different kinds of pottery that I'm looking at. One is the red-slipped pottery, which are just basic plates and bowls and jars. And the other category of pottery that I'm looking at are the incensarios or censer burners, which are big vases that have effigy figures or figurines of their gods on the front. What I've found is that depending on who you are and where you are and how you're going to decorate your pottery, you're going to mix your clay a little bit differently for each of those kinds of categories. To do that, I have to look at the mineralogical composition of the pottery, so the minerals that are in the clay. I take a slice of the pottery and I send it to a lab where they make a thin section. What you see through the microscope are all the different minerals that are in the slice of the pottery. I count all of the different minerals and their size and their angularity to determine which things are culturally added and which minerals are actually in the clay. But it won't necessarily tell me anything about where the clay is coming from, which is something that's important. In order to do that, what I have to do is I'll take another slice of the pottery to get the elemental composition of the piece of pottery. From those elemental composition groups, I can then determine where the pottery is coming from and going to, based on probable areas where the pottery was being made. As if the pottery that has the red slips is being made in the south and moved north, incensarios are being made in the north and moved south by the post-classic Maya. It's something that hasn't ever been studied before. It's been inferred, but nobody has any scientific evidence to suggest any directionality to this trade and movements and migration. So this is something that this grant hopes to answer. And in addition to that, I'm going to have a publicly accessible website that has all of this information so that any researcher in the Maya area can access the website and look at the results that I have and compare it to pottery that they may be excavating.